Hi, I'm Marilyn, and this video is regarding how to differentiate infatuation, egoic attachment, lust from love. Oftentimes, egoic attachment and infatuation are confused with love, but they are completely different things and operate from a completely different level. So I hope that this video can help to clarify the differences. And the reason I wanted to do a video like this is because a lot of us, and including myself, have had somewhat dysfunctional childhoods, and therefore our viewpoint and our examples of love are kind of distorted. Our role models for romantic relationships can sometimes predominantly come from movies. Movies often depict egoic attachment and infatuation and portray that as love, but that's not love. And towards the end of the video, we'll include 4 ways to manage infatuation and how to prevent it from happening. We are animals, and as animals, we are built to survive, and one way we survive is by our ability to reproduce. And so infatuation is a design in order to help motivate us to reproduce and to keep the human species alive. And that's a huge chunk of what it actually is. So it is more part of the animal part of who we are. Infatuation can commonly happen in people who have had childhood trauma or neglect. Why? Because they were missing, or they have not been getting that emotional connection with their parents growing up in childhood. And so as they grow up, they can start to be more prone to infatuations because they are trying to seek out that connection that they never had as a child. The emotions surrounding infatuation include egoic excitement, anxiety, arousal, and there can also be a bit of narcissism because it's about how that other person makes us feel and how it enhances our egos. These are the qualities of infatuation, and not just infatuation, but lust as well. With infatuation, it is also a form of addiction, and within your brain, there are chemicals being released such as norepinephrine and dopamine. And so these can cause you to feel like you don't want this infatuation to stop, but it is important to take action to make it stop because this way is not sustainable. How I define love is there is a feeling and a deep connection, not just with that other person, but with all things. So love is a connection on a deeper level. It's spiritual. It's spiritually driven. And not only that, that there is also a peace that is surrounded by love. So love is peace. When I was reading some scientific research prior to doing this video, I was surprised that even in my opinion, they are misinterpreting what love really is. They're interpreting love as egoic attachment and as chemicals formed in our brain. But that would be an intellectual explanation of love. But an interpretation of love from a wise perspective would see love as peace, security, joy, and joy, not joy as an excitement type joy. It's a joy that feels tranquil and peace. It's a positive type of feeling, but there's a peace surrounding it. Love is not addictive either. I have heard some people say that it is, but if you're experiencing or you believe love to be addictive and you feel that you've had that within you, what that is that's not love that you're experiencing. That could be anxiety and attachment issues that you had prior to experiencing that connection. So to reiterate, infatuation is egoic attachment, and love is spiritual connection. It is calming. It is the force that unites everything. In Eastern philosophy and tradition, they would pertain infatuation to the lower chakras. So it would predominantly be, I believe, probably the root chakra and the sacral chakra. I am not too familiar with Eastern religions, but that's basically what I know. And if you're uncomfortable with that, that's completely fine. Just think of yourself as this way. We have many aspects to who we are. We are not just one thing. Our ability to reproduce and to become parents are not just our predominant roles being here on earth. Our lives are not just based on that. There are so many aspects to who we are in terms of becoming self-actualized and reaching our full potential in terms of talents, abilities, and bringing that into the world. And so all of who we are should be valued. Maybe in our society, especially in older generations, which predominantly valued families and family dynamics and kind of neglected everything else. As we evolve as a species, we're going to evolve into incorporating all aspects of who we are, bringing our talents and our creativity into this world as individuals will be more important as time goes on. So I hope that this video will also reach teenagers and younger generations too, who think that they're in love. For example, people think that they're falling in love or in love. Ask yourself this one question. Do you love yourself? And if the answer is no, or I don't know, then the answer is no, you're not in love. Okay? You have to first be connected to who you are on a deeper level. Be connected to the love of who you are. If you remember one thing from this video, remember this, that the authenticity of any relationship you have with anybody depends predominantly on the authenticity of the relationship that you have with yourself. So it starts with you. It starts with your relationship with yourself. So going back to what I said, where teenagers think that they're in love, well, there's not many teenagers I know that love themselves. It's probably unlikely that teenagers are experiencing love. So here are some ways to manage infatuation. Number one, focus on your own path in life. Focus on your relationship with yourself. So if the question comes up within you where, let's say you have an attraction to a girl, if you feel, oh, I wonder if she likes me, instead replace that question with, how do I feel about myself right now? Or if you're asking yourself the question, I wonder if she's thinking about me, reframe that question and say, am I spending enough time thinking about myself and my future and where it's heading down? And also, if you're wondering if someone's thinking about you, just remember this, what people think about you is really none of your business. Number two, recognize egoic attachment for what it really is. For example, if you are having the feeling like you can't stop thinking about a person, remind yourself that that's egoic attachment and that real love is peace. Number three, start to value all aspects of who you are. This includes your humanity and your spiritual connection, and that all of these aspects are equally important, and the ability to reproduce is just driven by our animal aspects, or like in Hinduism, lower chakra needs that are just based on human survival. But there is so much to who you are in terms of talents and abilities, and it could be that these aspects of who you are starting to be neglected, especially self-actualization, that we should be heading on the path of self-actualization. Number four, we can prevent infatuation by extinguishing the fire. So this is a metaphor I like to use because sometimes with infatuation, it can kind of get heated. One technique to use is to, depending on your dynamic, you can have a discussion with the person, especially if you're noticing that the attraction is kind of mutual. You can have a discussion with the person and just bring it up like, hey, I'm sorry if I'm out of proportion here, but I am noticing that there is some kind of connection between us, and I just wanted to bring it up in the open. This can help to, like I said, extinguish the fire, so you're actually talking about it and bringing all the issues up to the surface instead of it being some kind of mysterious kind of thing that's going on. And if the person's in a relationship, these emotions will not be helpful towards you, so you can start to slowly withdraw from the person. I know some people say like to cut that person out, but if there's no issues between you and that person, I wouldn't advise cutting them out, but you can start to withdraw from that person. And if you're unable to do this, then that is a sign that you are off balance in your life. And it's not necessarily this connection or this attraction that's causing you to be off balance. It's that you were off balance to begin with. All right, so I hope that this video helped to clarify what infatuation really is. And if you have any questions or feedback, please let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.